Like there are a lot of things, maybe not a lot, but there are number of things where the best limited players do not agree on for a long time, and then a new set comes and they do not agree on things again, even when the set is figured out, and that's beautiful. And all of them are having the best results in the world, right? And they don't agree on things.
Yes,
and constructed,
that is fascinating in a way, the variability in interpretation of the set. And that variability is also coming from the randomness of the packs that you open. So even if you know all the theory and you open something completely wrong to your expectations, you need to navigate through that.
You need to adapt. You constantly need to adapt, yes.
But we'll probably go there soon about the drafting and maybe some tips. I just wanted to first put the sets that we have now in perspective. So the current set is Neo Dynasty, and the previous set, that was Crimson Vow. And we actually had a coaching for Crimson Vow, and at the time I really wanted to talk to you since it was the first set that I started drafting here in Arena. So it's these two that I know the best. And I feel that they are very different from each other. Me, in my ignorance, I thought drafting was kind of much the same. You kind of know the baselines, you learn the specifics of a set. But what I am learning is that, as you were talking earlier, the diversity is huge. You cannot stagnate. You need to constantly improve. And Crimson Vow was a really different set. It was what you call a Prince format, correct?
Yes.
Would you like to explain what's a Prince format?
So there are cards of common, uncommon, and rare, mythic, rare. Let's just call them rares. Common, uncommon, you're going to see a lot of them. Rares, very rare. You're going to see one per pack that you open. And usually rares are either horrible or normal or better and much better than the commons and uncommons. And the problem begins, with Crimson Vow, a Prince format, where in a Prince format, you have a huge percentage of rares, which are amazing, which are crazy powerful, not even close to commons and uncommons. And there, everybody's going to have, and when there is such a huge percentage, everybody's going to have a couple of rares. And if you draw them before your opponent, or they draw them before you, since you expect to have at least like 2 or 3, usually you're lucky if you're super happy with one. You're like, yes, I got one rare in my colors. But here it's like 2 or 3, and they're going to have an upper hand. So there is a bit more variance in if you're going to win or not. And there is a skill to drafting Prince formats. I mean, I have my win rate is not different in a Prince format than in other ones. Maybe I usually get a bit higher win rate when the more complex and balanced the format is, because you can adapt more. You can the skill ceiling is higher.
Yes,
but it's not a big difference in that. But it's still like you have to adapt and think about those rares all the time that you have to get. So that's kind of adaptation you gotta have.
Probably you need also removal, since these are rares that when they enter the board, they change the board completely and they turn it upside down. So you need an answer immediately, or you lose in 1 or 2 turns.
The draft loses. It's still extremely complex. It's Magic, but the draft loses on its complexity when you have Prince format, because you're trying to get those rares, and there are a few things that you can do that can help you do that in a right way. That's why you can still have a high win rate, but it does lose a complexity. Like usually, you don't want to think about what rare you're going to open too much. You maybe want to be open to having it or playing it in your deck somehow. But your draft should be revolved around like 99% of the cards that you get, which are common and uncommon.
Yes.
And that's where the strength should lie. So if you're drafting really well, you're going to have much higher upper hand than most of your opponents, because they're not going to have few random rares that are just going to win them the game.
Right. So, but even in Prince formats, I believe that you need some flexibility. Because rares work in a positive or a negative way, in the sense that you're making a good deck, and then on pack 3, you open a bomb. And you have a decision to make. Will I shift my deck to accommodate this bomb, or will I continue to build consistency? And sometimes I noticed a lot that some players destroy the deck in trying to force a rare into them.
Yeah.
So it's like a bait sometimes.
Exactly. Yeah, you need to be open to getting the rare. You can't be like, I'm gonna get I'm gonna play every single rare and bomb that I get. You can't do that.
Then you end up with a
And
5-color deck.
that I didn't think about it too much. Like that could be, or I completely forgot about it. It was a long time ago. But that could be the reason why high win rates are still very possible, because people are gonna get a lot of amazing cards, but a lot of them are not amazing enough to completely ruin your deck just to play them a few times. So yeah, I guess that's true.
Yeah,
but still, much more interesting to play this format. Where
I was gonna ask that. You seems that you like Neo more, since it is so complex. It has so much interaction between the commons and uncommons, all the synergies. It's very, very complex. In my small samples of 2 sets, I feel this is far more complex than WoW.
It's not even close. I agree. Not even close.
How do you compare it to the previous sets that you drafted?
In terms of how much I like it.
Yeah, how much fun it is, how much complex you feel it is, how difficult.
It's the best format that I have ever played.
For real? Best ever?
Best ever. Close with Kaldheim. Kaldheim was also the main reasons for both Kaldheim and this set, Neo, why I hold them so highly. First thing, balance. Balance. It's extremely balanced. You can go in so many different directions and still have incredibly good results. Like you do not need to like narrow down your choices to maybe a couple of different decks you're playing. You can play basically anything, and it can work. And that doesn't mean that you just don't care. You pick anything and it's going to be good. No, that means that you got to get into, you have so many ways to get into the right deck, depending on what everybody else is doing around you, depending on what you're opening and so on. Second thing, I don't know if that's second or first, but in terms of how important it is to me, complexity. Both of those sets, Kaldheim and Neo, are extremely complex. Like you do not have many obvious picks. You gotta think about them. There are always choices. Like even when there is, okay, you're extremely happy taking one card, but there might be like 2 cards in the pack that you're considering because they could lead you into another direction, which could be pretty good. And then you can switch back. Maybe in both of those sets, you can switch around what you're doing, completely trash your first few picks, and it's gonna be fine if you know what you're doing again. But and yeah, that's beautiful. And both of those combined make it for extremely high skill ceiling. And since the set begins and until the you're done with the set, you're constantly improving, and it kind of feels like you could play more. The new set is coming in 1 month, and I'm pretty sure in 1 month I will be fine with this set staying. But again, I'm always more happy about drafting a new set and learning again.